When your smartphone starts glitching out, like when the apps keep freezing up or the screen gets totally unresponsive and the battery is somehow draining by noon, you don't just ignore it.
No, of course not. You'd intervene.
Right. You do a hard reset, you go in, you clear the cache, you hold down the power button until the screen goes completely black, and you just let the device recalibrate.
Yeah, you're fundamentally stopping the system to save the system. I mean, it's the most basic law of troubleshooting, right? You have to interrupt that corrupted process to get things back to a functional baseline.
Exactly. It's so binary, it's clean, and, works every single time. But then you look at our actual lives.
Oh, yeah. That's a different story.
Totally.
Yeah.
The constant low-grade stress, the endless doom scrolling, that really heavy brain fog that rolls in right around 3 p.m. and we just keep pushing through it. We rarely hit restart on ourselves.
That's pretty wild when you think about it.
It is. We treat the little pocket-sized computers in our hands with more structural respect than our own minds.
We really do. We're running on this completely overloaded human operating system, and instead of rebooting, we download another productivity app or drink another shot of espresso, and then we just wonder why we're crashing harder and faster than we did yesterday.
Right. So what if the ultimate, life hack for navigating our hyper-fast, notification-heavy modern world was actually created thousands of years before smartphones even existed?
That's the million-dollar question.
It really is, and that's exactly the mission of today's deep dive. We are unpacking this genuinely fascinating stack of excerpts from a text called Ancient Wisdom in the Rhythm of Indian Rituals.
It's a fantastic text.
Yeah.
Really dense, but so rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. And if you are the kind of person who, wants to learn how to navigate all this modern chaos without feeling overwhelmed by a dozen new self-help frameworks, you are going to love this.
Yeah, because it's not about adding more to your plate.
Exactly. We're looking at how these seemingly simple mechanical customs pass down through generations, things like lighting a morning lamp or touching an elder's feet, are actually highly sophisticated ancient blueprints. They were designed to solve our very modern struggles.
They really were.
So, okay, let's unpack this, because to understand how to really combat modern distraction, I think we first have to look at exactly how we start our everyday routines.
Right, because the beginning of the day totally sets your cognitive baseline.
Yeah.
And the source text points out something that feels incredibly relevant to our current burnout culture.
Which is what?
That most people live life entirely on autopilot. I mean, we wake up and we're immediately in a reactive state. The alarm goes off and we react by, slapping the snooze button.
Oh, guilty.
Right. We all do it. We roll over, we look at our phone, and immediately react to a work email or some crazy news headline. Before our feet have even physically touched the floor, we are purely in a defensive, reactive posture.
It's just a constant stream of external input. Yeah. And defensive maneuvering, it's like when you drive to work and suddenly realize you don't even remember the commute.
Yes. Highway hypnosis.
Exactly. You were physically behind the wheel, but your brain was rehearsing an argument for a meeting that hasn't even happened yet. It's a very unsettling feeling when you catch yourself doing it.
It is. And, ancient Indian thinkers actually observed this exact human tendency, this habit of drifting through the day completely unconsciously.
So they recognized this way back then.
Oh, yeah. And to combat it, they designed daily rituals to serve as what the text beautifully calls gentle interruptions in this unconscious flow.
I love that phrase, gentle interruptions.
It's perfect, isn't it? Because long before the concept of mindfulness was, packaged into this massive global wellness industry and sold back to us via subscription apps, these traditions were teaching people how to anchor themselves.
Right.
They were basically daily exercises for the mind, built right into the fabric of the morning. They were designed to build emotional resilience and pull your focus away from past regrets or future anxieties.
That phrase completely reframes the idea of a ritual for me. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The text talks about the specific act of lighting a lamp at dawn.
Yes, the dia.
Right. Now, to an outsider, you might look at that and think, okay, it was before electricity, it's dark, you obviously need light to see.
Sure, a purely functional view.
Exactly. But it's not about illuminating the physical room. Symbolically, bringing that light into the darkness of ignorance is a deliberate, conscious choice. I kept thinking about this like a mental speed bump.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Or actually, it's like a daily alarm clock, but one that isn't meant to wake up your body. It's designed to force you to take your hands off the steering wheel of that autopilot and wake up your mind.
Right. And what's fascinating here is the underlying psychology of that physical act. Because the true power, it's not in the flame itself or the oil or the wick.
Right. It's not magic.
No, not at all. The power lies in how the physical action trains the brain over time through tactile engagement. I mean, think about it. We live so much of our lives in the digital abstract now.
Everything is just screens.
Exactly. Swiping a glass screen is entirely frictionless. It doesn't require actual presence. You can do it while staring off into space. But when you pause to, say, strike a match and light an oil lamp, you have to be there in that exact physical second.
Oh, because if you're not paying attention,
You will literally burn your fingers.
Yeah.
You cannot be rushing.
Yeah.
You cannot be drafting an email in your head.
you are absolutely forced into the physical reality of the moment. The friction of the physical act is the whole point.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And doing that every single morning, it creates a cognitive habit. Neurologically speaking, you're training your brain's attention networks to come online before the stress response does. Yeah, the external action lighting the lamp is really just a doorway to an internal transformation. It physically reminds the practitioner that every single day offers a fresh opportunity for clarity. You're setting the terms of the day rather than letting the day dictate terms to you.
It's brilliant because it's so tactile. You're literally sparking something. But okay, once we hit that mental speed bump and actually wake up to the present moment, we have to figure out how to steer the rest of our day, right?
Right, you can't just stare at a lamp for 12 hours.
Exactly. So the texts dive really deep into how we maintain that clarity, and they focus heavily on discipline.
Right. And specifically, the concept of tapas.
Yeah, let's get into tapas and this idea of waking up before sunrise, because the text refers to this pre-dawn period as Brahma Muhurta.
Yes, the time of Brahma.
Right, and it describes this time as being highly conducive to mental clarity and spiritual growth,
Yeah.
which physiologically makes a lot of sense. The demands of the world haven't started competing for your attention yet.
Exactly. The world is asleep.
Your cortisol levels haven't been artificially spiked by, like, a breaking news alert on your phone.
Yeah.
You have zero decision fatigue because you haven't had to make any choices yet. It's basically the ultimate do not disturb mode.
It really is the one window of the day that is entirely yours. And this ties directly into tapas, which the text essentially translates as discipline or self-control.
Right.
The idea is to use regular, non-negotiable routines like maintaining personal cleanliness or setting aside quiet time for reflection before the sun is up to actively cultivate inner strength.
Now, I have to admit, I really struggled with this part of the text as I was reading it.
Oh, really? What was the sticking point for you?
Well, I kind of want to push back on this idea of rigid discipline because it feels so contradictory to how we live today.
What do you mean?
We're constantly told that the ultimate goal in modern life is freedom, right? Flexibility, being able to work from anywhere, anytime. Be your own boss. Doesn't a rigid structure like forcing yourself out of bed before the sun comes up, doing the exact same routine every single day, doesn't that kill spontaneity?
I can see why you'd feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily see how a strict routine like this actually takes away our freedom. I've tried those punishing 5 a.m. routines before, and honestly, they just made me miserable. It felt like I was putting myself in a straitjacket.
That is the quintessential modern dilemma right there. We tend to equate freedom with a complete lack of constraint, just doing whatever we want whenever.
Exactly.
But if we synthesize what this ancient philosophy is actually saying, it resolves that paradox beautifully. The ancient thinkers recognized that true freedom is actually not the absence of structure. Think about the mechanics of human behavior for a second. If you have zero structure in your life, what is actually governing your choices?
I guess my immediate impulses, my mood in that exact second, how tired I feel, or, whatever notification just popped up on my screen.
Precisely. You become a captive to those impulses. If you just do whatever you feel like doing in the moment, you are being entirely governed by your biological and emotional reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah. What tapas teaches is that freedom is achieved through mastery of oneself. By committing to disciplined actions like waking up during Brahma Muhurta, you are actively exercising the prefrontal cortex. You are learning to govern your impulses rather than letting them govern you.
Okay, I see the distinction now. because when I tried those routines in the past, it felt like punishment, mainly because I was focusing entirely on the restriction. I was trying to force a result.
Right.
But this text is framing it more like building a muscle.
Right.
Discipline is what buys you the freedom to actually choose your life rather than just being dragged along by it.
Exactly. The routine creates consistency. It fortifies your character so that when the chaos of the day does inevitably hit, and it will, you aren't knocked off balance.
You're anchored.
You've already established your center before the sun has even risen. You aren't reacting to the world. You are responding from a place of grounded strength. So the structure is not a prison. It's a fortress.
That completely shifts how I view a morning routine. So
Right.
this discipline, this tapas, strengthens the individual. It builds a resilient, centered person. But a centered person doesn't just live in a vacuum. How does that highly capable individual fit into the broader world?
Well, that brings us to the text's introduction of a really profound system of gratitude. In Indian philosophy, as the excerpts detail, gratitude isn't just some abstract virtue you think about like once a year around a holiday table.
Right, like Thanksgiving.
Exactly. It's not a seasonal event. It is an active mechanism woven directly into the daily mechanics of living.
And the examples they gave were so striking to me. Offering a brief prayer of thanks before eating a meal, or greeting elders with profound respect, honoring teachers.
Yes.
Even treating the physical tools you use for your work with reverence, cleaning them, physically acknowledging them. It points to a worldview where absolutely nothing is isolated. It actually made me think about the modern myth we are so obsessed with today. The self-made individual.
Oh, yes. The lone wolf who conquered the market or the world through sheer isolated willpower.
We love that narrative. We put those people on magazine covers. We write endless biographies about their unique genius. But acting like you achieved everything entirely on your own is like thinking you won a marathon solely because of your own two legs.
It's totally ignoring reality.
Yeah. You are completely forgetting who actually paved the asphalt you ran on, who stitched the shoes on your feet, and who was standing on the sidelines handing you water along the way.
That's a brilliant analogy.
Mm.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you start to see why these rituals are so subversive to our modern egos.
Subversive how?
Well, let's look at the practice of bowing and touching the feet of elders. To a highly individualistic Western mindset, that might just look like subservience, or maybe just a quaint cultural greeting.
Right, just a tradition.
But psychologically, it's doing something much more complex. Let's bring in the concept of embodied cognition. That's the psychological theory that our physical movements directly shape our internal psychology.
Oh, that makes sense. It's like the study showing how forcing yourself to smile can actually lower your heart rate and make you feel happier. The physical action precedes and shapes the mental state.
Exactly. So when you physically lower your body to touch someone's feet, you are enacting humility. You are physically bypassing the ego's defense mechanisms. It actively shatters the illusion of complete independence.
Oh, wow.
The physical posture itself forces the brain to acknowledge a hierarchy of wisdom and experience that exists outside of yourself.
It's literally bringing your head below someone else's to remind you that you didn't invent the world you live in.
It grounds you in reality. Every single achievement relies on countless visible and invisible contributions from society, from your ancestors, from the accumulated knowledge of generations.
It's so humbling.
It is. When you express gratitude before eating, you are acknowledging the farmer, the complex biology of the soil, the rain, the hands that transported and prepared the food. In a modern world that aggressively isolates us and celebrates individual success above all else, these daily rituals are a grounding mechanism. They remind you that you're supported by a massive, interconnected web.
And that interconnected web doesn't just stop at human society, right? If we're acknowledging the soil and the rain, it naturally expands outward into the environment itself.
Absolutely.
Which fundamentally reshapes the nature of how we view our place on the planet, and surprisingly, how we view our daily work.
This is an area where the ancient texts feel remarkably ahead of their time. They offer a level of intellectual rigor that totally challenges how we operate today. Because Western philosophy, historically, especially since Descartes, has often operated on Cartesian dualism.
The split between mind and body.
Right. This idea that the mind and the body are separate, and by extension, humanity is completely separate from nature. Nature is just viewed as an external machine, a dead resource to be dominated and extracted for our benefit.
Whereas the texts we are reading operate on a completely different premise. They explicitly show ancient Indians practicing what we would now call ecological awareness, long before environmental sustainability was like a trending topic or a global crisis.
Thousands of years before.
Yeah. The rituals involve water, sunlight, plants, the changing seasons. The text mentions offering water to the rising sun or caring for sacred plants like the tulsi. It reinforces a non-dualistic view. The observer and the observed are part of the exact same entity. We aren't sitting on top of the world using it. We are a functional, breathing part of its rhythm.
And this raises an essential point about the mechanism of alienation. The philosophy suggests that harmony with nature leads directly to harmony within oneself. When humans exploit nature without restraint, when we view the earth merely as a resource to maximize quarterly profits, we create a deep psychological imbalance. We break the connection.
Exactly. We become alienated from our environment, which ultimately alienates us from ourselves. We literally forget our place in the cosmic order.
And this idea of cosmic order bleeds directly into how they view everyday chores and labor, which brings us to karma yoga.
Yes, a beautiful concept.
The text explains that spirituality in the Indian tradition isn't just confined to temples or designated holy days. It's happening in the kitchen. It's in the sweeping of a floor. Through karma yoga, everyday chores or your daily work become acts of devotion, but only if they are performed with sincerity and without attachment to rewards.
This is perhaps one of the most profound and misunderstood aspects of the philosophy. The goal is not to escape the world to be spiritual. You don't have to retreat to a cave in the Himalayas.
Which is a relief.
Right. The goal is to transform your everyday, mundane actions into continuous opportunities for self-awareness. So what does this all mean for us today? Because I have to ask. If we aren't supposed to be attached to the rewards of our work, if we aren't looking for the bonus or the promotion or the applause, does this mean the goal is to just stop striving for achievements altogether? Do we just become completely passive and accept mediocrity?
No. It's not about apathy at all. The mechanism here is a shift in the center of gravity in your mind. The emphasis shifts from the achievement to the intention.
How so?
Think of it like playing a complex video game. If you spend the entire game staring only at the score in the top corner of the screen, you're going to miss the obstacles right in front of you.
Right, you'd crash immediately.
Exactly. You will play poorly, you won't actually enjoy the game, and you'll feel incredibly stressed the entire time.
But if you focus entirely on the mechanics of the gameplay, the jumps, the timing, the strategy, getting into a flow state, the score naturally takes care of itself.
Yes. Karma yoga teaches that you should still play the game, and you should play it with absolute sincerity and excellence. But you must detach your sense of self-worth from that final score, which you ultimately cannot control anyway.
That is such a good point.
The market might crash, the algorithm might change, someone else might get the promotion. By focusing purely on the quality of your action in the present moment, work itself becomes a path to inner freedom. You aren't working to extract something from the world, you are working as an act of conscious participation.
It's the difference between cooking a meal just so people will compliment your culinary skills versus cooking a meal because the act of nourishing people is inherently beautiful.
That's a perfect example.
That subtle shift in mindset completely removes the anxiety of expectation.
And removing that anxiety of expectation is exactly what prevents the human operating system from crashing.
Man, okay. This has been an incredible journey through these sources. When we look at everything we've unpacked, the sheer practicality of these ancient tools for the modern listener is honestly stunning.
It really holds up.
It really does. We have mindfulness built right into a morning lamp to cognitively counter our digital distraction. We have discipline and tapas to strengthen our prefrontal cortex against the chaos of impulse. We have a baked-in system of embodied gratitude to shatter our ego and counter modern dissatisfaction. And we have this deep connection with nature and karma yoga to completely reframe our relationship with work and counter burnout.
It's a complete toolkit. Modern technology has absolutely transformed the surface of human existence. There's no denying that. But our core human architecture, our baseline psychological and emotional needs, has not changed one bit since these texts were written.
Not at all.
These traditions didn't survive for thousands of years by accident. They survived because they're highly effective, deeply ingrained psychological treatments for modern symptoms like burnout, emptiness, and chronic stress. And the true beauty is they don't require you to quit your job or escape the world to a mountaintop.
Because the external ritual is really just a doorway to the internal transformation. Profound change doesn't actually require dramatic, life-altering action. It starts with incredibly small, simple acts, performed with awareness.
Exactly.
It's a hard reset we desperately need, just disguised as a gentle interruption. So, we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today as you go about your routine. If external actions are just doorways to internal transformation, what is one ordinary mechanical habit you already do every single day? Maybe it's grinding your morning coffee, opening your laptop, or tying your shoes, that you could transform into your own gentle interruption today.
Just a moment to pause the system, clear the cache, and wake up the mind.
Something to think about the next time you feel the urge to just push through the fog.
Please like, share, and subscribe to Timeless Indian Wisdom to be updated on the latest videos.